And it's been another week. So what do you guys think of the new setup? Do you like this view of the apartment? We can change it around. We can try a couple different locations. It's just really got some nice sunlight going right here, and still unpacking, clearly. For a little while now, we've kind of been talking about frustrations with modern movie making at the Hollywood level. And if you didn't watch last week's update with Marshall Mosley, where we talked about screenwriting in the studio system and his experience on Project Greenlight Season 3, you should absolutely check it out. Very interesting. But today, I'm also going to talk a little bit more about another reason why it's harder to find kind of really complex, interesting movies on the main stage in movie theaters. So Donald Glover has a new show on FX. It's called Atlanta. And I didn't think I was going to get to watch it because I don't have cable. Then they put the first episode of Atlanta up on Facebook and on YouTube. So since we have the YouTube app on our Xbox, we watched it on our TV. And it was awesome. First episode of Atlanta was great. And then I was like, oh man, Atlanta's so good. It's going to be hard to wait for DVD to watch the rest of it. And I thought I was being really funny because I can get it on iTunes, presumably. And I had two different people send me pirated links to the second episode of Atlanta. Now, guys, this isn't going to be like one of those downer updates. I'm not going to go on a tirade here because I looked at a few different studies. It looks like about 30%, a little higher than 30%, like 1/3 of adult Americans stream content from sites that are, pirate sites. And it looks like younger amount of the population, it's closer to like 60 to 70%. That is exactly why they only make tentpole movies at the studio level now. It's why they pour millions of dollars into these big special effects extravaganzas, because character development can play on the big screen, it can play on the small screen, it can play on the computer screen once you've downloaded it illegally from one of these sites. But to really get the big scale effect, you can still draw people into the movie theater to pay to see a movie if it looks like some kind of big spectacle machine. As someone who goes to a lot of movies, those engage me less, even on a big screen, than some of these character pieces that are more interesting. It's the non-spectacle movies that are getting pulled out of the studio system because they can't make their money back because they're being pirated. Creative content is made on a budget by people who think they can make more money distributing it on a large scale. Money is everything. An interesting story is only interesting to watchers and creators. The people who actually fund to make movies are actually trying not to make movies, they're trying to make money. It's the same with TV. Game of Thrones is some of the most pirated content as well. It's because they have it locked behind a paywall on HBO. Hey, Toph. On HBO. That was a jump scare. Paywall on HBO. Hey, Toph. That's why stuff gets pirated a whole bunch these days. I did it, okay? I really wanted to see the first season of True Detective. I did not have HBO. It was before they had HBO Now. And have like, Toph. I know it looks like a toy, but it's not. Hey, come here. Yeah, come here. Come here. Good kitty. When we hear about a thing, we want to experience that thing. We go looking for that thing. Where can we get it? Where can we get it? Oh, okay, well, that's very difficult to get. But this thing has it for free for me right now. And then you just download it. The problem with that, take Donald Glover's show, for example, right now. The people who are funding it, FX, don't care if it has great amounts of piracy numbers, because all that means is that they're not going to be able to make their money back on it. And then there will be no more of that show. As there's been more ways to pay for content, more people are agreeing to pay for content, but there's still a pirating culture that is actively destroying the middle ground of storytelling. Another thing with the piracy thing, you think, I didn't do it a bunch, I only did it, if I could find a way to pay for it without having to get a whole subscription element, I would do that. Like if True Detective had come to iTunes, I would have been able to download the episodes. But money is the only thing. And if you think, I'm just one person, you're like, it's $3, whole movie industry, but millions of people are doing that, and that is millions, if not billions of dollars for the entertainment industry at large. That's why people can't make a living making creative content anymore on any kind of scale. You can make tiny little things, as long as you don't have to make back a whole bunch of money. If you make them on such a shoestring situation that they look, really cheap, then you can probably still make a living at it. How long is that going to be interesting? I'm already not interested in making a show the way that we have made this show. All the workarounds and compromises that happen when you're doing it at such a low budget level. And it does tie into internet video as well, just in terms of like ad blocking. You know, you can buy YouTube Red and get rid of your ads, but people won't because they can get an ad blocker because ads are annoying. The people who are paying to put money on content will take that money out of content. And then the people who are able to make those videos will no longer be able to make those videos, which brings me back to hobby culture. Piracy is driving us towards a creative hobby culture. And maybe that's good. It's new, that's for sure. You know, creativity wasn't as commoditized as it was for the last 50 years prior to that. So that was new. Now this is a whole other way thing, you know? People are just going to tell stories because they want to, not because they can afford to. Because you won't be able to tell stories on any kind of scale unless you're making a Marvel movie or a big budget superhero movie, and those are not going to take many chances because they can't afford to. Just another thing. So I did not follow those downloaded links to Atlanta. And let me tell you a little bit about how Pops is going. In the last 9 days, I have done 21 visual effects shots. Some of them need to be redone. I've dropped them into the sequences in the timeline, and they don't all kind of work perfectly in sequence. I'm just going to have to tweak a few things here and there as we go. But I am making good progress on Pops. I hope this wasn't too much of a downer. If you do, you know, download stuff occasionally, I don't think that's great. But again, I'm just a guy in your computer, or phone, or tablet, or TV. A couple people watch us on TV, not a bunch. I just looked at where people are watching us statistics. As I said, there was a time when I did do it on certain things that I wanted access to right away because I had the urge to watch it, and I would find the only portal I could to watch it immediately. But after listening to several podcasts with working professionals in the mid-range of the industry and how piracy is killing their entire livelihood, not just the writers and directors, I'm talking about like grips and DPs and electric teams and all of the workaday people in the industry, I stopped, and if I can't have something immediately, I find a way to find it legally, you know? And that can be frustrating. Like, I really want to watch Atlanta. Hopefully it'll be on iTunes and I can just download the episodes there. I haven't checked in the last week if I can get them on iTunes, but I will shortly after this update. The only thing that most people who fund storytelling care about is their return on investment. If they break even, something's a failure. It's like any business. That is the reality of the world. It's not like, oh, well, it should be a different way. It's not going to be a different way. I hope you guys have a good week. I've got to go back to working on Pops. You guys are awesome. That's the Pops logo. We got to get some stuff on our walls here, but we still got to unpack, you know? I'll see you in a week.